So one of the harbingers of the agile-pocalypse is plague. And what plague am I referring to? The plague of incompetent agile coaches and scrum masters. And yes, I'm using that word very specifically. I'm talking about those folks that have no clue or understanding about the work being done, and yet seem to be elevated to a position where they are responsible for the effectiveness of the people doing that work. And they often, especially in large organizations that have a lot of hierarchy, have more powers than you would ideally like an agile coach or scrum master to have. And they wreak havoc and devastation in your organization by leveraging those powers. This looks very much like, what's a good example? I worked with an organization in Seattle. I think they might have been actually in Portland. It was just that part of the world I was in. And at this organization, they had just fired their scrum master. Why had they fired their scrum master? Well, their scrum master had decided that if you're not standing up, you're not doing scrum. Even though standing up has nothing to do with scrum, but if you're not standing up, you're not doing scrum. And the team had decided that they would sit during the daily scrum because they had a team member who was disabled and in a wheelchair, and they didn't want to tower over that person during the event. Which of those two options is the very epitome of Scrum and Agile and that mindset? It's the team that's self-organized to pay respect to their teammate and had the courage to talk about it and decide on a way of doing something. That is the epitome of Scrum and the Scrum values. The Scrum Master, total charlatan, didn't have a clue what's really going on, focused on mechanical Scrum and practices. And I'm seeing right now, this is quite topical, because I am seeing a ton of posts about here's why Agile's shit, right? And what was the one today? Agile is a cancer, or Scrum is a cancer, I think it was. Scrum is a cancer. And he goes on to talk about why is Scrum a cancer? Although, you know, that terminology has its own weight, right? But it was because it gives an excuse for leaders to tell teams what to do. It gives, you have to stand up during the daily scrum. You have to, too many meetings, right? Too many meetings. What were the other things? Man, there was a whole host of those things today. And there's been a number of posts. It seems to go in waves, right? So this plague that affects Scrum and Agile in general is this not even misunderstandings. They're just abject failures of competence. Abject failures of competence. These are people that have maybe never read the Scrum Guide, never kept up to date, never actually read the Agile Manifesto, don't actually understand what are the underlying principles that we're talking about here. And they just make decisions and do stuff based off nothing. And then you have the impact, right? What's the impact on the organization? What's the impact on the teams? You can see these posts from people that abjectly hate Scrum or hate Agile or just think that Agile just doesn't work, right? And mostly when you ask them what are the things that you've seen that is the reason why Agile doesn't work or Scrum doesn't work or many of these things, they describe scenarios that are the very opposite of agility, right? Agile doesn't work because we all have to do story points and guarantee the number of stories delivered per sprint. These are things that are part of this plague. It's just, you can see that I'm quite annoyed by this one. It annoys me every day, and I meet such awesome and amazing Scrum Masters and Agile coaches every day who really understand what they're doing. They're lean Agile practitioners, and they have a complete deep technical understanding of the processes, practices, and tools that are needed for the teams that they engage and coach with for them to be as effective as possible at the job that they're doing. But unfortunately, for every one of those awesome coaches, there are 10 people who decided yesterday to become a Scrum Master after their, being a bit sarcastic, their arts degree, right? And they have no clue. They want to change their career and become a Scrum Master, and they have no clue about the work that the team does. They have really no clue and certainly no experience about how to engage with those teams. And because there is a shortage, this is a big rant, because there's a shortage of qualified people in the industry, most organizations, they need Scrum Masters, only 2 good ones apply, but they need 5, so they hire 3 crap ones, because that's who's available. We can do better. Organizations need to stop hiring for just their need. They need to hire for the quality of the people that they get as well. This is a good example of technical debt in organizations, and it's a great example of a plague affecting our entire industry and organizations. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through Naked Agility.